Hello everybody, welcome back to Hakuoki. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but let's figure it out together, right? Yes, okay, sounds good to me. Okay, let's see here. Well, chances like this only come every so often. Who knows when the next one will be? Wanna join us? What? I was perplexed by his sudden invitation. Does this mean I could march as a member of the Shinsengumi? It seemed rather inappropriate for me to ask to participate just for curiosity's sake. Still, I very much hope to be helpful in some way. Could I perhaps do something like what I'd done at the Ikeda Inn? However, there's also the chance that I become a hindrance as opposed to helping them out. I want to go. My mind was made up. I nodded to Harada. I want to help. I would like to participate and help in some way. Alright, thanks for letting me know. When the time comes, I'll be sure to back you up so you could join us. We were so close to a scene change, and I ended. Whoops. Several days later. Excuse me. I carefully lifted the serving platter with tea for the captains and made my way to the common room. Ah, thanks. Thanks, Chizuru. Man, it's like you're our servant or something. I mean, well, I was a page as far as everyone knew. Thought to correct him crossed my mind, but instead I stayed silent as I passed the tea out. Thank you, Yukimura. Feel bad asking you to do this. Oh, it's nothing. After all, I am Hichikata's page. I spoke barely above a whisper, but Inoue smiled and nodded at me. Okita took a sip of his tea, and a mild grimace flickered across his face. I don't know why that's so hard to read. Is something wrong with the tea? The taste is fine, but it could be a little hotter. Maybe you're taking too long to pour it. But I guess I can expect this from you. What is that supposed to mean? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll make a new batch right now. Don't worry about it. I like it lukewarm. You can drink it immediately, right, Hajime? Sure, right. I guess lukewarm tea isn't bad on a hot day like today. That was nice. It was silent for a second before the door slid open, and Kondo arrived with a stern look upon his face. The Shinsengumi has received an official request from the Aizu domain. All available soldiers must begin preparations to move out immediately. That was loud. Shit, okay. Yeah. It seems the Aizu have finally noticed all the hard work we've been doing, men. And one lady. He looked just as happy with the news as the rest of them. Apparently getting orders directly from the Aizu domain was an occasion for some excitement. Hichikata, however, was the lone exception. We don't have time for this shit. Stop patting each other on the back and get moving! We need to go now! He's so aggressive. It's so funny. Oh, I didn't start my timer. I don't know how long I've been recording. Yeah, meh. We'll just go from here. I'm sure it's only been a couple minutes. If that. The Choshu are already in Kyoto. We can't let them gain the upper hand on us. As Hijikata rebuked the men, the warriors all scattered sequentially to their stations. When it was only the captains and myself remaining in the room, Hijikata vented. So what? So only when the Choshu attack Kyoto. Is everyone ready to go? This is bullshit. Thinking back at what happened at Ikeda Inn, while the Shinsengumi were fighting hard, the Aizu domain was elsewhere and came strolling in way later at the scene. Remembering that incident, I feel like I can understand Hijikata, at least to some extent. Okita and Todo, you will remain at the headquarters. I doubt you'll like it, but, well, neither do I. Your injuries keep you from active duty, as do mine. He rubbed his left arm absently and looked away. Hey, speak for yourself. It's not like my injuries didn't recover or something. But I guess I'm not at 100% either. So if you're telling me to sit this one out, I will. You're making a big deal out of nothing. This is just a scratch. Kondo's being a wuss. Okita acted as if he didn't hear Sanan, all the while Heisuke pouted. You sure about that? All last night you were crying like a baby. You son of a bitch. Why you gotta rat me out? Is there even a heart in there, you old bastard? But you did scream like a baby though, right? Right, Chizuru? Hey, don't ask her! It'd be nice if you'd keep your mouth shut for once, you know. He glanced sideways at me. But Heisuke, it's true that your injury hasn't recovered. His bangs hid the scar rather well, but it still looked painful. Nagakura broke the awkward silence. Oh yeah, Chizuru, you said you wanted to go with us if we got called in, right? You still up for that? Even though I'd told Harada that I was into the idea of joining them, it still seemed a little risky. Ah, yes. Well, I see no reason why not. After all, opportunities like this are seldom seen. For some reason, Kodo was easy to convince. I wasn't expecting him to be so easily swayed. What the hell? If she's tagging along, maybe it'd be a good idea for me to come too, right? You're still out of shape though, right? You stay... Oh. Hey, excuse me. You're still out of shape though, right? You stay behind at the compound. Ah, that's awesome, Chizuru. Are you sure it'll be alright? Hijikata and Sanan sighed at the sight of my reservations, which was understandable. We can't promise you won't get hurt or worse. You should stay here. Shut up, Sanan. Do you wish to place undue burden on the Shinsengumi? We are not here to entertain you. Colonel Sanan, can I take that you mean... So long as she's not a burden, she is free to accompany us? I blinked. Saito standing up for me? Sanan seemed nearly as surprised as I was. You can't be saying you're actually in favor of bringing her along. Saito simply shrugged. She was an asset at Ikeda. I only intended to point out that, judged by her actions, she has hardly proven to be a burden. Never in a million years would I have imagined that Saito might have a word of praise for me. My eyes grew wide with elation, and Kondo nodded in agreement. Excellent! I will take full responsibility for your inclusion. That is, of course, if you still wish to participate. Sanan still didn't seem convinced. I looked around the room until my eyes met Okita's. Do whatever you want to do, so long as you get that we're going into battle, not a party. It looked like I was about to get it. It looked like I wasn't about to get any help from Okita, who looked nonplussed either way. Perhaps I'd be able to help them out, like I had during the Battle of Ikeda Inn. I nodded. Yes, I would like to participate. After that, everything was a blur. As quickly as we could, we prepared for battle and marched to the Fushimi magistrate's office. A government office that supervised the Fushimi station and Yodo riverbank, which is one of the 7 entrances to Kyoto. Interesting. There were a number of the Kyoto Judiciary Commissioner's men gathered there as well, in preparation for battle with the Choshu. Walking proudly in front of the men, Kondo approached the government official near the gate. We, the Shinsengumi, are reporting as requested by Lord Katamori Matsudaira, the Lieutenant General of the Aizu. The 9th generation daimyo of the Aizu domain, he holds the position of Kyoto military commander. Interesting. Katamori Matsudaira was the lord of the Aizu domain and also the Kyoto military commissioner, which made him a very important person. His name would have been immediately recognized. The man standing near the gate looked slightly taken aback by the mention of the Shinsengumi. You were told to report here? But we have received no such orders. No, that didn't make any sense. What? Perhaps sensing my confusion, Saito leaned over and whispered underneath his breath. I like Saito. He's a cool cat. If they haven't received notice of our orders, lines of communication are likely in disarray. Do you mean the Choshu is overpowering the shogunate forces? Not necessarily. However, I do suspect the enemy will be doing well. This could be tricky. The Judiciary Commissioner and the Military Commissioner had similar organizations, but they operate very differently. The Military Commissioner's office was under the jurisdiction of the Aizu domain, while the Kuwana domain controlled the Judiciary Commissioner. I'm starting to get confused. Domain governed by Sadaki Matsudaira, the Kyoto Judiciary Commissioner. Oh, okay, I see. So they're related. Okay. I didn't fully understand the relationships between each domain, but so far as I knew, the Aizu and the Kuwana weren't quite fond of one another. They have the same name.
しかし、我らには会津藩からの正式な書状がある。上の者に取り次いでいただければ。
Sorry, had a yawn. Nonetheless, our assistance has been formally requested. If you could only speak with your supervisor.
取り継ごうとも回答は同じだ。さあ帰れ。身分ごときに用はないわ。
Dumb bitch. It wouldn't make a difference. Now get! We have no use for Mibu's wolves. I see. Wolves of Mibu, a nickname given to the men who would later become the Shinsengumi. It was both a reference to their reputation and an alternate spelling of Miburo, meaning Ronin of Mibu. Yeah, he should still go talk to his supervisor. He shouldn't just, like, make this decision for himself. How terrible. And after they'd asked for the Shinsengumi's help, I felt Harada's hand on my shoulder and turned to look up at him. Forget about them. This isn't anything to make a fuss about. We get this sort of crap all the time. But this is so galling. I wasn't truly a member of the Shinsengumi, but even so. After living with the Shinsengumi men and watching how they worked, I couldn't bear to see how they were treated, which is why this felt wrong to me. Everyone at the Shinsengumi has worked so hard to maintain peace in Kyoto. How could these people, who are supposed to be our allies, turn us away without a second thought? I appreciate the gesture, but I'm gonna need you to toughen up for me, if you can. Excuse me. If we throw a fit here, then we might hurt Aizu's reputation. You get it? Oh. The Kuwana would only need to complain that the Shinsengumi hadn't showed them proper respect to make trouble for the Aizu. All of the men, including Harada, understood what needed to be done, and they endured. There's nothing we can do here, Chief. We should leave the magistrate alone and meet with the Aizu domain's men on our own. Saito's suggestion to Kondo was rudely interrupted by Takeda. This fucking asshole again. Us leave? What's the point of ignoring a military command in the battlefield? Chief. Sorry. Such an important scene and I'm over here yawning. Chief, everyone knows that messengers get delayed during war. Leaving now would be foolish. I think we should remain here on standby. If this location were camp to which we were stationed, then maybe it'd be making sense. Unfortunately, it is not, and it would be wise for us to act in the best interest of the Shinsengumi. This guy is such an asshole. Do you dare oppose my opinion? An opinion, mind you, from the Shinsengumi's war counselor? Cool it. Saito brings up a good point. Kondo nodded deeply as he glanced at Saito. We, the Shinsengumi, will officially look for the camp that military commissioner is constructing. And with that, the Shinsengumi was set off to find the soldiers of the Aizu domain. Night had fallen by the time we arrived at Kujo Beach, a location near what is now referred to as the Kanjin Bridge on the Kamo River. After leaving the Fushimi magistrate's office, we made for the Aizu Manor. Upon arriving, we relayed our previous encounter and asked for new orders. A Buddhist temple in Kyoto used as the base for the Aizu domain, the Shinsengumi rented a portion of the Konkai Komyo, it's a long word, in Kurotani. The manor official we met with directed us to go to the Kujo beach, which we did. However, what? The Shinsengumi is to join us. We've received no such order. I apologize, but could you speak with the commander at the Nagakura seemed to tolerate no more of this.
Huh? お前らんとこの反対が新選組は九条河原へ行けって言ったんだよ。
What the hell? He was the one who told us to come here, god damn it.
その俺らを適当に扱うってのは新選組を呼びつけたお前らの上司をないがしろにする行為だって分かってんのか?
You wanna fuck us over, fine, but you're gonna be disobeying a direct order from your superior, pal. You really wanna do that?
それは私に言われても。
Please, calm down. I don't know what you... The man flinched and shivered, then fell silent. Kondo did his best to assume a professional air, but there was no hiding his massive grin.
陣営の責任者と話がしたい。上に取り次いでいただけますか?
I would like to speak to your commanding officer. Do you think you might be able to take me to him? Take him to me. Words, they work. At last, after a great deal of trouble, we were allowed to remain with the troops at the Kujo beach. The chief and the captains left the rest of us to speak with the Aizu commanders. They returned some time later, looking tired and drained. Inoue, who'd gone with them, also wore a bitter sort of half-smile.
どうやらここの会津藩の兵たちは主戦力じゃなくただの予備兵らしい。
Well, it would seem the men stationed here are reserves, not the main force of their army.
会津藩の主だった兵たちはHama-gory御門の方を守っているそうだ。
Their main force has been committed to the defense of Hama-gory Gate, one of the western gates of the imperial estate. It's protected by the allied forces of Aizu, Kuwana, and Satsuma. They're treating the Shinsengumi like reserves?
屯所に来た伝令の話じゃ一国を争う事態だったんじゃねえのか?
Then why the hell did they send us a message acting like this was some sort of emergency?
状況が動き次第即座に戦場へ馳せる。今の俺たちにできるのはそれだけだ。
We can't predict what might happen. Battle may soon approach us. There's little to do but wait. So all we can do is wait. There was a chance that the call could come at night, so the men stayed awake, ready to act.
休むなら言えよ。俺の膝くらいなら貸してやる。
This brat. Just let us know if you need to rest a bit, Chizuru. You're always welcome to sleep on my lap. Oh, no, I'm fine. Harada laughed as I shook my head. It wouldn't be fair for me to be the one to sleep. She probably said only one, and I read it wrong. I'm sorry. The men had to remain alert, anticipating that they could face death at any moment. Anxiety wrapped around me until I slept near dawn. The men, however, were vigilant through the night. Even as I drifted in and out of consciousness, I could see them nearby, persisting against the night. The break of dawn burned my eyes as I heard it. Ooh. A cannon? Ooh. Oh boy. The crack of a gunshot tore through the morning air, and in the distance I heard men shouting and the clang of metal. The fighting had begun. Oh shit. The captains looked at one another and nodded.
行くぞ
It's time we left. I stared at him for a moment, perhaps not yet fully awake until I understood what he was saying. Right! With a quick nod, I readied myself to go.
またん
Then,
か新選組我々は待機を命じられているのだぞ
stop! What do you think you're doing? We were ordered to stay here.
待てだ
Did you just tell me to stop? Even during our lengthy march the day before, I'd never seen Hijikata so mad. Maybe because of his position as the commander, he was afraid to express himself when his temper flared up, but it looked as if he had reached his limit. Normally, he left the yelling to Nagakura and stayed patient when when speaking with army officials. Words. This time, however, he finally had enough.
おめえらは待機するために待機してんのか御所を守るために待機してたんじゃねえのか
He is upset. I thought your job here was to protect the imperial estate, but you'd rather sit on your fat ass. That proves residence. I could have guessed, but thanks.
長州の野郎どもが攻め込んできたら援軍に行くための待機だろうが
We're here to stop those Choshu assholes from attacking. Tell me, what are the Choshu doing?
しかし出動命令はまだ
But we haven't received any orders. I just want to point this out really quickly. I realized this recently while watching One Punch Man. Nope, just kidding. It was The Good Wife. I like asshole characters as long as they're on the good side. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind that he's a yelly, grumpy little grump because he's a good guy. But if he was a yelly little grump and a bad guy, I would hate him. And I think that's a really funny distinction to make. I read that, I'm pretty sure. Hijikata was in no mood for excuses.
仕事に一かけらでも誇りがあるならてめえらも待機だうんぬん言わずに動きやがれ
He's so mad. If you've got any kind of pride in your job, then forget your goddamn orders and move. Rick. He has zombie sounds. Without even waiting for a response, Hijikata spun around and stalked off, fuming. Where are we going? I didn't dare raise my voice above a whisper, but I asked Saito, who was walking near me.
敵が確実にいる場所Hama-gory御門を目指す
To the enemy, which in this case means Hama-gory Gate. Hama-gory Gate. You mean where Aizu's main force is protecting, right?
Hama-gory御門では激しい戦闘が始まっている
The battle at the gate is likely to be an intense one.
あんたも今のうちに気を引き締めておけ
You'd better prepare yourself. This guy has a really tiny nose. I just realized that. Alright. Hijikata's fury seemed to rouse the Aizu's reserve, who, up to this point, seemed flustered by the threat of conflict, watching the Shinsengumi march. At the end, they followed the Shinsengumi to the Hama-gory Gate. In the end. Before long, we'd arrived. Oh my gosh. The gate was pockmarked with scores of bullets, and everywhere dead and dying soldiers littered the ground. The acrid stink of firearms hung in the air. Even though I tried to prepare myself mentally for what lay before me, my heart shattered from the traces of war occurring ahead. The enemy, however, was nowhere to be seen. He had arrived too late. The battle was already over. After a moment of stunned silence, several of our men were dispatched by Hijikata to determine what happened. Then Kondo sighed.
しかし天使様の御所に陥るのに長州は一体何を考えているのだ
What are the Choshu thinking? They've raided the imperial estate. I've gotta adjust the way I'm sitting. My leg is giving me ouchies. Discord, why are you always interrupting my recordings? Go away. What are the Choshu thinking? They've raided the Imperial State. I've read this. I'm so intelligent, and I don't have the memory of a goldfish.
やっていることがよくわからんね。長州は尊王派のはずなんだがな。
I find it difficult to know what they're doing. How do they claim to be an imperialist domain? Kondo simply nodded. The Choshu defined themselves among those who revered the emperor, yet they attacked his home? It didn't make sense to me either. Nevertheless, the damage was done. I was in the middle of pondering their reasons when Saito returned to me.
夜半から朝方にかけて蛤御門へ押しかけた長州勢は会津と薩摩の兵力に退けられたもの。
It appears the Choshu attacked Hama-gory in the early morning, but were repelled by the combined forces of the Aizu and the Satsuma. A domain governed by an opposition daimyo named Shimazu. They initially supported imperial unification, but they eventually allied with the Choshu in the interest of removing the shogun. Interesting. The forces standing against them were too much for the Choshu, who were forced to retreat. The corner of Hichikata's mouth curled into a grin.
薩摩が会津の手助けか。世の中変われば変わるもんだな。
So, Satsuma is helping Aizu now. Are they? Times sure are changing.
あんなに仲が悪かったはずなのに。いや、長州が共通の敵となっただけか。
Considering their less than friendly past, it would seem the Choshu became their common foe. The Satsuma and Aizu domains hadn't been on the best of terms. I thought that they outsmarted the family domain and allied with the imperial court to expel foreigners. Doop. Family domain, a domain ruled by the son of the Tokugawa clan. However, I recall my father telling me that they were not much different than Choshu. Unlike the Choshu, however, they had gone to war with a foreign force and suffered a devastating loss. Following their defeat, I learned the Satsuma began to reconsider their nationalistic stance. However, these were only rumors, and what had come to pass had yet to be fully determined.
土方さん、公家御門の方にはまだ長州の奴らが残ってるらしいぜ。
Hichikata, supposedly there's still some of those Choshu bastards fighting over at the Kuge Gate. Kuge Gate, a location now referred to as the Inoue Gate at Matsuyama Castle. Oh. Hichikata's expression changed as he considered Harada's words, but before he could open his mouth to speak, Yamazaki appeared.
副長、今回の御所襲撃の中心人物らが天王山に撤退しているそうです。
Commander, we believe the men who led this raid are headed for Mount Tenno. An important heavily traveled location in the southern part of Kyoto. It is adjacent to the Setsu province. Mount Tenno was located between Kyoto and Osaka. Supposedly, they're in the middle of escaping from the Fushimi towards Osaka. After hearing the report from both Harada and Yamazaki, Hichikata contemplated deeply. Although Kondo was recognized as the formal head of the Shinsengumi, he had learned from everyone that all major decisions were deferred to Hichikata. This was no exception, and I could see that all eyes were on him. He was silent for a few moments, and then I saw his mouth curve into a small smile.
てめえら、今から忙しくなる。
Looks like our work's cut out for us, boys. And one lady.
あらば、隊を率いて公家御門へ向かい、長州の残党どもを追い返せ。
Harada, take your men to the Kuge Gate and deal with those Choshu bastards.
あいよ。
Sure thing, boss.
斉藤と山崎は状況の確認を頼む。当初の予定通り、この蛤御門の守備に当たる。
Saito, Yamazaki, I want you to figure out what the situation is here. Hold the Hama-gory Gate.
承知。
As you wish.
はい。
Got it.
それから大将、あんたには大仕事がある。
Your job's a tough one,
手
Chief.
間だろうが、会津の上層部に掛け合って、追悼の許可をもらってきてくれ。
I know this is a bitch, but I want you to speak with the Aizu bigwigs about a punitive expedition.
長州軍の追悼だ。
So, punitive expedition for the Choshu, right?
天王山に向かった奴ら以外に愛山商家に押し狩りしながら落ち延びるんだ。
Some of those bastards are headed for Tenno, but others will run around and cause trouble.
俺らも今日を離れる。その許可をもらいに行けるのは
If we're gonna go after them, then we'll need to leave Kyoto, and only you can get us those papers. The Shinsengumi were entrusted with the protection of Kyoto, and if this war was for aiding the Aizu, then they had to do more than just guard the gate. Leaving our post, however, to chase after the Choshu troops meant that we needed permission from the military commissioner, meaning the Aizu.
なるほどな。局長である俺が行けばきっと守護職も取り合ってくれるな。
I see. If it's the chief of the Shinsengumi, the commissioner's office will listen to what we want. After what we'd gone through the day before, I didn't imagine Kondo's task would be an easy one. Still, if the representative was anyone other than Kondo, the Aizu would be unlikely to grant the request, let alone entertain the notion of a meeting.
源さんも守護職邸に行く近藤さんと同行して大将が暴走しないように見張ってくれ。
Again, I want you to go with him. Somebody has to keep an eye on our chief, alright?
はいよ、任されました。
Of course. I'll do my best, Commander. Another laugh ran through the soldiers, and Kondo's mouth twisted into a wry sort of grin. Ah, get out of here, you quick-loading piece of garbage. Perhaps we chose not to deny it because he knew he might go a little crazy.
残りの者は俺と共に天王山へ向かう。それから
The rest of you are coming with me to Tenno. As for you. So for me. He looked directly at me. I wasn't a warrior, nor did I have political ties. Hijikata didn't know what to do with me. Suddenly, I felt very much like dead weight.
好きな場所に同行しよう。だが近藤さんについていくのかしら。
So this is where I get to pick. This is a diverging route. Gotta pick which boy I want to follow around. Okay. You can't go with Kondo, but other than that, it's up to you. Alright. Kondo was meeting with the leaders of the Aizu. If I joined him, there'd be nothing for me. I had many options for what I could do. Hijikata would be pursuing the leaders of the Choshu attack towards Tenno Mountain. Saito would be staying at Hama-gory Gate to protect it and to gather information. Harada and his men would be going to the Kuge Gate to stop the attack on the Imperial Estate. The question was, where would I go? Okay. And with that, I'm going to end the episode. Thank you everybody for coming out and playing with me. I had a ton of fun, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!